Something like that happened in real life. What I'm talking about there, and what I was talking about there, was Gordon Ramsay dropping dead of a heart attack because he's been ranting and raving too much and swearing too much because he's got me in as a contestant. And I've set the whole joint on fire. But here's how it went down on another occasion. It wasn't a cooking contest. It was a meeting on a boat in the middle of a river. That'd be the Danube. The Danube. In ancient Roman times, Rome was on the decline. But even though Rome was on the decline, the emperor tended to still think that he was the main guy, the main character. But as it turned out, there were a whole lot of barbarians who were also wielding a lot of power. But they were barbarians, Huns, those sorts of people. Anyway, there came a time when the balance of power was such that the Roman emperor, he really wasn't any more powerful than the bloke on the other side. It wasn't Attila, it was some other bloke, can't remember who. Maybe it wasn't even a Hun. Maybe it was an Ava or something, But anyway, the Pope, no, sorry, I'm not talking about the Pope, I'm talking about the Emperor. The Emperor of the day summoned, because that's what emperors used to do, they'd summon their vassal states to themselves. And the Roman Emperor summoned let's call him the Hun, the Hunnic general of the day, to himself, to Rome, to attend a summit so that we can work this thing out, because Rome was suffering. The Huns were beating them. And he got a message back. And the Hun guy, he said, no, you come to me. The emperor was apoplectic. This was the dignity of Rome on the line here. This was not to be borne. The halls of Pemberley to be thus polluted, that sort of thing. All right. What happened was, the emperor was offended badly. I'm a Roman and you're a barbarian. So what happened then was the Huns wouldn't budge. And the emperor couldn't do it. He couldn't go across into the, wherever the Huns were, on the other side, in Hunland. So what happened was they agreed to meet in the middle of the river. I think they got a barge, maybe they got 4 big ropes, and tied 2 to one side of the bloody Danube and 2 to the other side. But one way or another, they met in the middle of a river. I think it was the Danube. And that was neutral ground. Anyway, we had the emperor sitting at one end of the table, and we had the Huns sitting at the other end on the other side of the table, and the emperor was making his demands in high and mighty terms, and the Huns were sort of just sitting there picking their teeth, grinning. They held the cards, and there came a moment where suddenly the emperor had enough, and he stood up, and he just started screaming and ranting and going purple and blue. And the Huns, being Huns, they're not going to be sort of frightened off by this sort of spectacle. But what happened was the Huns were just sitting there, and the emperor was just ranting and raving, Gordon Ramsay style, and then suddenly the emperor stopped mid-rant and dropped. He was dead before he hit the floor. And I can only imagine that the Huns just looked at each other and sort of said, well, didn't expect that. What else could you say? Bring another drink. This is funny. We'll have to think what happens next.